Imagine this. You're in a room full of people, all striving for success. Some play fair, work hard, and stay true to their values. Others lie, manipulate, and trample over anyone in their way. Yet, it's often the ruthless ones who rise to the top. Why? Is the world truly rigged in favor of the worst among us? History, politics, business. Everywhere you look, you'll find examples of individuals who, despite their lack of morality, have achieved extraordinary power, from ruthless emperors to cutthroat CEOs. The pattern repeats itself. But this isn't just a coincidence, it's a fundamental feature of human nature, deeply embedded in our psychology and social structures. In a world where resources are scarce, competition is inevitable. Those who hesitate, who seek fairness at every turn, often find themselves left behind. Meanwhile, those who are willing to exploit, deceive, and dominate rise to the top. This harsh reality forces us to confront an uncomfortable question. Is morality a weakness in the game of power? Yet, there's a paradox. While the worst people often succeed in the short term, history is also filled with stories of their downfall. The real question is not just why they rise, but whether their success is sustainable. And, more importantly, what does this mean for those of us who refuse to abandon our principles? To understand this, we need to explore one of Nietzsche's most controversial ideas: master morality versus slave morality. Picture two warriors on a battlefield. One is strong, decisive, and fearless. He takes what he wants, shapes the world to his will, and does not ask for permission. The other hesitates, waiting for external validation, hoping the world will reward his virtue. Which of these two is more likely to survive? Which is more likely to rule? Nietzsche argued that morality is not an absolute truth. It is a product of power struggles throughout history. He identified two fundamental moral systems: master morality, the morality of the strong; the rulers, the conquerors. It values strength, ambition, and power. To the masters, what is good is what enhances their ability to dominate and create. They define their own worth. Slave morality, the morality of the oppressed, the powerless. Since they cannot impose their will directly, they glorify humility, obedience, and self-sacrifice. They view suffering as noble and power as inherently evil. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Slave morality does not prevent the rise of the ruthless, it enables it. By condemning ambition and shaming the pursuit of power, it leaves power in the hands of those who do not care about morality at all. While the noble-hearted hesitate, those who embrace master morality take control. And in a world where hesitation equals defeat, the results are inevitable. So, does this mean we should abandon morality entirely and embrace the ruthless path? Or is there another way to reconcile strength and virtue? To answer that, we must look deeper into the psychology of those who rise to power, the ones who refuse to be victims of circumstance. Imagine a vast, untamed wilderness. In this world, survival is not about fairness or kindness. It's about strength, adaptability, and the willingness to do whatever it takes. The lion does not ask for permission to hunt. The storm does not apologize for its destruction. Nature does not reward morality. It rewards those who endure. Human society is no different. Beneath our laws and social contracts, The primal battle for survival still rages. Those who rise to power share one defining trait: ruthlessness, not necessarily cruelty, but the ability to act decisively, unburdened by hesitation or guilt. This is not an accident, it's an evolutionary adaptation. Psychologists have long studied the traits that predict success in competitive environments. Time and time again, the same patterns emerge: high levels of ambition, low sensitivity to fear, a reduced sense of empathy for those who stand in the way. This does not mean that all powerful people are psychopaths, but many of them possess traits that allow them to act without the emotional constraints that hold others back. Consider the leaders, entrepreneurs, and conquerors who reshaped history, from Julius Caesar to modern business moguls. The pattern is clear: hesitation is a liability, and power is taken, not given. But here's the paradox: ruthlessness alone is not enough. Those who wield power without wisdom often face spectacular downfalls. A leader who rules through fear alone will eventually be consumed by the very forces they once controlled. History is filled with tyrants who believed they were invincible, until they weren't. If power is often seized by the ruthless, does this mean that morality and fairness are doomed to fail? Not necessarily. But to understand why, we must challenge one of the greatest illusions of modern society: the belief that the world is fair. From childhood, we are told a comforting story. Good people are rewarded. Hard work leads to success. Justice always prevails. But as we step into reality, a brutal contradiction emerges. The hardest workers are not always the wealthiest. The most honest do not always lead. The kindest hearts are often the most broken. This disconnect is not a flaw in the system, it is the system. The idea of fairness is, in many ways, a social construct, a narrative designed to maintain order rather than reflect reality. Power and success are not handed out based on merit alone, they are taken, fought for, and often hoarded by those who understand the game better than others. Enter Nietzsche's Übermensch, the one who rises above it all. The Übermensch is not just about brute strength or blind domination. It is about self-overcoming. The Übermensch refuses to be a victim of circumstance. They do not accept imposed morality without question. They shape their own destiny instead of conforming to the expectations of others. At the heart of the Übermensch is the will to power, not power over others, but power over oneself. Unlike the tyrants who seize power out of insecurity, the Übermensch does not need validation. Their strength comes from within. This is why the worst people may rise to power, but they will never truly transcend. The ruthless play a temporary game, climbing through manipulation and force. But the Übermensch plays the infinite game, building something greater than themselves. So, how do we navigate a world that rewards the ruthless without becoming one of them? Understand the game without being enslaved by it. Accept that life is not fair, and never was. Recognize that power is neutral. Those who understand it wield it best. Balance strategic thinking with integrity. Build rather than exploit. Create value so that your power is earned, not stolen. Power is not inherently evil, it is a tool. Used wisely, it can lead to greatness. Used recklessly, it exposes the darkest aspects of human nature. Nietzsche's challenge to us is this: do not fear power. Master it. And in doing so, redefine success on your own terms.